Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson.
And 15 PCA.
Be sure to like, share, hit the thumbs up, and hit the bell for notifications, and follow us over on Twitter at C15 Podcast. So we are, this is going to be our episode of All About the Orvilles, where we answer the comments on the previous episode. And for anyone who's here first, for the first time, we start at the top of the most liked comment, the most popular one, and then we work our way down. So if you want to be part of the show, comment on the new episodes, and then we'll discuss it. We're going to start with, the name of the episode was Everyone the Birthday Cake. Oh, what was it? Yeah, it was a word.
Oh, no. Everything's a birthday cake or something like that. I'm sorry, we're getting that.
I remember in the comments, someone said it has a Beatles song. I didn't know that.
Oh,
but that's later on in the comments. I just remember because it popped in my head. But we're going to start with our first comment from F Cool D. They haven't figured out constellations would be different on different planets. They also have a strange attitude we do see from some religions in our world, which are not letting them leave. If they are evil, why not let them leave? Why risk them have them around at all if you can kick them off the planet? Edit. I was just thinking they should have broken out an astrology chart and told them that our astrologers say Kelly was born under a different stars. Wouldn't have helped Bortus though. That would have been an interesting solution, but when we were talking about this, maybe they only care about their charts because it's their gods.
Yeah, they see it the way to their universe. The universe has to come to learn to adapt to them, not the other way around.
So they're not ready for the next step.
No, they're not. And also, too, when you say we wouldn't let him leave because they can't, because they figured, what if he did and they did something violent and that's our fault?
Yeah, we let that happen.
Let that happen. It was so evil, they had to take care of it. That's how backwards they're.
Well, they'll put all the sin on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing such a great job.
I know, right?
But these are a couple responses to that comment. SJ Pace 1776. As Ed said last week, meeting alien life causes societies to adjust and open up or become xenophobic. Rygar 2 felt like one of those would have gone the latter if circumstances had been different. And it's just one of those things, but eventually that would have cropped up somewhere. Yeah. And it would have been, imagine if they would have got starting to get integrated before this blew up. It's kind of good that it happened sooner rather than later.
See, that's why I think in this case I have to think the Star Trek policy of observing first is way more important than how they do it, I think.
Psychotic Production said maybe they just assumed that the bad time of the year was the same one everywhere, but the universe might mark it some other way on other planets. There are ways to hand wave it. It's just like the system made it a lot of sense anyways. So yeah, maybe because on our planet it's this way, but on your planet it may look different, but it means the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's probably the way that they would have justified it in their head.
Yeah, that's to say, I think there'd been no other way than the way they did it. I'm sorry. I just don't think they would have bleeded any other way.
Not for a while.
No.
They spoke it again, but that was 3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And they still believe in that same archaic thing.
Because when Finn was saying it was such a traumatic event, it changed everything when they saw that star disappear by that black hole.
So what do you think? They're still 1,000 years away from getting away from this?
I would say at least 100, if not more.
Yeah, because they're pretty advanced, but then they're not.
Yeah.
But they have to admit all those times that all the babies and everyone they imprisoned was wrong all these years. Man, they got a lot of stuff to work through.
They got a lot of baggage you have to go through, yeah.
So our next comment, Xena the Trey, so Xena the Third. I was rather giddy this whole episode. It was really fun to watch. The entire crew getting excited about First Contact was great. They probably should have spent a wee bit more time studying the planet before contacting them. Yeah, I know, right? Especially knowing everything afterwards. Yeah, maybe you gotta learn more. Maybe send a couple of historian types and just exchange information. And
well, they did that in Majority Rule, and look how that turned out.
Yeah.
I mean, so...
Astrology turned up to 11 was a neat way to create a conflict in the show. I think it could have been a different solution for the problem, i.e. Earth and Mocklins have different astrology signs, so maybe they're not the Giliac? Is that what they called it? Yeah, or something like that. Again, I apologize if I mispronunciate something, but when I get new terms, it takes me a couple of episodes or a couple of ways to get into pronouncing it correctly.
Saying it right, yeah.
But the solution they used was just about the only one I could have used at the time that they had. Putting a device further away to mimic the star might not work out so well because light speed. The sequence with the woman having the baby and the father deciding to give the baby away was pulling on these heartstrings. The action sequences was great, and they had an actual feeling of tension. To keep this from turning into a wall of text, I'll say I love this episode. The Orville keeps getting better and better. Yeah, it was a good episode, and they had those moments of, despair with high action. And I think the only complaints people have about this throughout the comments is how could they not have known that stars look different on different planets? But again, I think it was just they were so ingrained that they think our way is the only way.
Exactly. And they're almost shocked at the fact that they're not the same way. They're shocked that they don't believe by the star charts and everything.
It's one of those things where you just think, oh, you should be beyond us, but they're not. But we're not them.
Yeah, and they also, like you said, a star just a star, but they'll never see it that way for at least a
while.
Future. But it's all funny, though, because remember even Borders in that episode was talking about how they even believed in that kind of stuff to a point, too. Yeah. So that might want to help Borders in that situation.
Yeah, because he said, some months are more desirable than
others. Exactly. See, they would have said, well, your people believe the same thing, so it's like...
But they just take theirs, we just make sure.
Yeah.
So they just take theirs
to
the
next step, to the extreme, yeah.
And it's funny, in your comment, you said that the wall text, bring it on, we love it. If you feel like you need to write us a paragraph and a half,
I have no problem with that.
It's interesting. We love it. This is the kind of conversations.
It fuels my brain, to think about these things.
It's just cool. And I say this every time we do these videos. It just reminds me, like when I was in high school, talking with my buddies about the latest episode of DS9, but it was me and 3 other guys. Now it's us and everyone on YouTube.
That was me with the Next Generation, then a little bit DS9 when it started.
But that's cool. I love it. So if you feel like you want to write more, write more. As long as you think it's interesting and you think it adds to the conversation, do it. No limit. There's no text limit here. You can keep it going.
Exactly.
Michael Maloney. Again, I apologize if I mess up anybody's names. I'll probably say it 1,000 times because it makes me feel bad that if I say your name wrong. But, clearly the union has no prime directive. They also don't have a General Order 24 either. Lucky for these morons. Oh, yeah, see, it's just different. Their first contact protocols are different than in Trek's. I think McFarlane did that on purpose just to show that there's a difference.
And also, they made a good point when they first contacted them, because we do that so that way you don't get in contact with a dangerous race.
Yeah, because if it had been the Crow, it'd kill them all.
They'd kill them all, and or enslaved them and took over their planet.
And took all their resources.
They wouldn't have cared about any astronaut. They wouldn't even find out about it. They would have
they would have come in guns a-blazing.
Yeah.
Imagine if he sent a message, oh, look, there's like an alien spaceship. They just dropping bombs. They just kill everyone. We shouldn't have done it. So I can see both sides of that. That, okay, let's make contact since we know we're quote-unquote the good guys. We won't straight up attack them because they know that there are evil threats out there. Yep. So I can see. There was a response to that one from Ron Mexico. I think they do have prime directives. Kelly even mentioned that when they decided to escape. She says that these people think that we're criminal and violent and we act in a criminal and violent way. Then we are following the prime directive, basically saying that we'd be going against the prime directive by not acting that way, that these people believe that we should. Yeah, she did make that comment like, oh, but again, she's kind of being, I don't know, she's being facetious, like, oh, to go along with their cultural guidelines. Oh, they say we're evil and bad. Well, might as well be evil and bad.
I think that was more. She was just saying, you know what? We'll just do it. Forget them.
She's being kind of
she was being being a little condescending. But who cares at that point? They just took away a kid, baby, and you can see why they did it. But it's still awful. I can see why the husband did it and told him rather.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have my baby grow up in a prison camp. Yeah, it's sad and it's horrible and it's a terrible thing. But literally, lap of luxury. Everything, or we're gonna eat out of garbage cans the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Same commenter, but a new comment. Ron Mexico. If you're going to do a review, you should probably take some notes during the show, like what the new character's name and the new aliens are called, stuff like that. I agree. It's just Thursdays are so busy for our podcast. There's so many new episodes of so many things, and it takes me a while to get used to names. If you check out our original reviews for episodes like 1 through 5, I was having a hard time remembering people's names.
Now we know them like nothing.
Yeah, but it's just it's just one of those things. I remember I used to have a little note card that had people's names. It's just because Thursday's gotten so busy. But we'll get to it. I understand.
Yeah, well, see that's positive criticism. I have no problem with that because he's right. We need to get those things down if we're going to do a review.
So our next comment, the Soul of the Dragon. They take their horoscopes very seriously on this planet. Yeah, I know, right? They're a little too extreme. Like remember those little horoscope scrolls you used to be able to get like at a 7-Eleven?
Yeah, but also you can also get them like in the paper.
Yeah.
The horoscope.
So, but imagine that being law. Like that was like the law of the land.
Yeah. And I think that's the only like superior law they have. I don't think other laws are even half as bad as that. It's crazy.
Yeah. So what if someone born under the sign of like someone who's supposed to be righteous and good and they do something bad, they kill someone, does it not count?
Well, Kelly and Borders killed some people and they didn't care at the end, so I mean...
Well, because they were just acting on their...
Yeah, it's so weird, yeah.
Because they dusted some fools.
Well, they can't help it. Yeah. What is this?
Those chiliacs. They would always be killings to people.
I know, right?
But it's so funny. When's the last time someone's actually committed a crime like that? Or is that proof that it works? You know that? Can you?
Because it looks like an advanced society, like probably like it's like 100 years from now, but they're just That one thing that just keeps them back.
But can you prove a negative? Like, oh, this rocket keeps tigers away. Well, no, it doesn't. Do you see any tigers? You can't do that.
No,
you
it's
can't,
not quantifiable, but it's just one of those things.
That's why I bet you that's their justification.
Yeah.
Oh, look, these people haven't done any crimes because we put them in these special camps.
But what if someone good that's
I know, right?
within?
I would have liked to see how they would deal with that.
This is why Orville's so good, because on a planet we could have 2-3 episodes just on this planet alone.
Yeah.
Without the Orville. That's how interesting it is.
I can't say her name, but it's up on screen. Gukium? God, I'm terrible at this. Personally, I see this less about religion and more about quote-unquote popular science. That is the pseudo-scientific practices that believed to be true just because they are popular. Yeah, I can see that. Also, people get caught up in like...
holistic medicine?
Yeah, holistic medicines or like these weird kind of diets. You have to start on the third moon of this and then all these like weird things that don't... They just make you feel better about something. There's no real science there.
But takes something like that and puts it on a planet to the extreme to show how like horrible it can get, thinking that way.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where all extremes are usually bad. I would say 99.99% bad. Never deal in extremes. Only Siths deal in extremes. Remember that.
Yeah. And absolutes.
And absolutes. SJ Pace 1776. 3 in a row strong episodes for me. Another 9 out of 10. The highlight to me was being presented a problem and not sure how to solve it. All the pieces were there, and the solution was clever if morally ambiguous. I thought Mercer would give some speech and logic and win out, but the Admiral pointed out the Mocklins last season. Societies don't change easily. Then I imagined that Tala, is that how you say her name? The new security chief?
Yeah, I think so, Tala, yeah.
Is leading Prison Break for Kaylee and Borders, having to manipulate their beliefs in science and possibly leaving a legacy of mistrust was a fascinating way to go. On the new crew member Tala, I need time and hope she gets a centric episode to learn about her. Alara had 3 strong episodes that made me love her, so give Tala some courtesy. Yeah, she's going to need some character episodes.
If not sooner but later. It's got to be either this season or next season she's going to need it.
It shouldn't come right away. I say wait about 3 or 4 more episodes.
That's what I said. If anything, late or next year. That's what I said, too.
But yeah, again, like they said that, you can't just go on a planet and tell them, no, this is the right way to do things. Is that correct?
You're putting your values, yeah.
But that's the morally ambiguous thing. That's what makes sci-fi so wonderful.
Yeah, and also even Cynthia, and he didn't know if he did the right thing because he did build a thing of mistrust. Like I said, short term they got their people out. Long term, that could ruin a relationship forever.
Again, I think other people say this in the comments later on. But do you think this planet is like off the list of the Planetary Union to try to simulate a little bit?
Not at least for 100 years.
So they're not going to even have any type of contact? Because they did say, get off our planet, we don't talk to you anymore, so do you have to respect their wishes?
But, maybe the fact that they saw that star, maybe they'll be a little bit more
See, this is what I was hoping. I think I even said this in the review. Okay, so they don't find out that was a fake star for like 100 years. They've been living this way for 100 years and realize, these people aren't violent. So they're like, even though they tricked us, maybe we were wrong all along.
But they can't find out right away.
Yeah, they can't find out right away. It's got to be like generations.
Yeah.
But yeah, when the old guard passes and the new guard comes in.
Exactly.
But if they find out like in a week.
But funny, people might even want to say, well, how come they even did a signal in space if they thought that way? Because they thought everyone's going to think like them. That's why.
They just assumed.
Well, they're in the stars. Why wouldn't they think that way?
And Daniel and your last name that I can't pronounce, even though he did a.
This has become We Don't Know the Names podcast, everyone.
Yeah, but I mean, you give that a shot.
Oh, I'm not making fun. I agree with you.
Yeah, he says it's French. I remember he posted last time when I tried to say his last name. I apologize.
Yeah.
But hello again. The issue with the baby was really screwed up. While I was watching the show, I was kind of rooting for the father who wishes for the child to have a better life and thinking the mother was frankly being a little selfish and unreasonable. To me, the circumstances of the astrological society were so precise that it wasn't even a choice to let the child go. But then after the episode, I started thinking the same choice would be in real life in context and not under the science fiction premise, and my opinion completely changed. That is the power of context, and I've always loved always loved Star Trek and similar type sci-fi shows presenting us concepts that changed our perspectives. The conditions of the society literally changed my empathy towards the mother, and that is messed up. We need TV shows like this. We need shows like this. Exactly. And that's what I've always I love fantasy, I love sci-fi, all these different things, but something about science fiction.
It's always my first love.
It challenges you. Good science fiction challenges you to think. Doesn't tell you what to do. Doesn't tell you what's right or wrong, but to think about something in a little bit different way.
Well, because they have good allegories if it wants to.
Maybe you don't change your opinion, but if you even thought about it, I take that as a win. That's what makes sci-fi so wonderful.
Well, I remember even McFarlane said this best. He goes, "This show is way too good than it needs to be." But I wanted it to be really good. I
just love it. And we watch other sci-fi shows, we review other sci-fi shows that don't have any of this.
No,
none of it. Nothing at all. It doesn't try to question anything. It's either you think the way the main characters think, or you're a bad person.
Yeah.
You're a garbage person.
Yeah, that's not what sci-fi
Not once has the Orville ever made me think, even going back to About a Girl, you could took any side of that argument and no one was made to feel like you did the wrong thing.
No.
I love that. That's why I love it.
Well, they even mentioned that. They go, well, you didn't, dancing.
Yeah, that what went down on Mocklin.
Well, McLaughlin, he goes, well, you didn't go in the guns blazing. Some of those people said we should have. Well, that would have been really bad because they got advanced technology. That would have been an all-out war.
Yeah, and they're trying. We got to care to keep friends.
Yeah.
But again, another great comment. I completely 100% agree with that. That sci-fi is, I think, one of the best mediums to challenge thoughts and ideas. Yeah. Because it's in the future and you can say, well, what if we develop this? Yeah. And it can change so many different ways.
See, fantasy always goes in a different direction.
Yeah, magic and elves and stuff are cool,
but it's not the same for me. It's not.
Our next comment, Harrison Smith. This is my favorite episode so far, beating out New Dimensions from Season 1. I really appreciate those little explainer moments like, you're the one who begged for another Chilean, and what if you find out that the star is fake, because without that I would have been taken out of the story a bit. The attention to detail is quite apparent in this season. I'm so glad they did the First Contact story. This is, of course, one of Star Trek's main tropes and something people know Trek for doing. So bringing it into the Orville seems only fitting for a show that is essentially Trek. Another thing that this episode makes it stands taller than the rest was the immersion. I felt while watching the plot wasn't too outlandish and the pretty much everything that happened in the episode was believable. There's a balance to be made between believability and quote-unquote cool factor, and I think they did it well here. My favorite scene was when Kelly and Bortus were being badass in their escape attempt. What an episode. Can't wait for the next one. And yeah, I agree. They do. McFarlane has found a very good balance between keeping it some moments lighthearted, seriousness, and believability, and cool, fantastic
he could turn
stuff.
On a dime, though. Like, man, that was good. Like I tell you, the episode when they were in Celea with that cooking scene. My goodness.
And then you mentioned New Dimensions. That's the one they go to the 1D world.
Yeah, the 2D world. Yeah.
Yeah, where everything was like completely flat. See, that was another cool, like, super sci-fi concept because it's so beyond our own ways of thinking. We can't even begin to understand something.
No, because
like that.
Literally to them, they can't see them because in 3 dimension, they might as well just be not even there.
Yeah, we could have multiple realities on top of each other and not even know it.
No, exactly.
See, that's a cool sci-fi thing, and this one felt more, because with the baby situation and everything, it was more human, but on an alien planet.
At first, I was kind of mad they didn't take McFarlane's idea for a Star Trek episode, but I'm glad he got to do this instead. I want a new sci-fi universe. I think that's cool.
So we can, in every episode, we're learning a little more.
Yeah.
We see new races, we see new things. It's like I get to learn new lore.
I can't wait till the new Orville book comes out. It's explaining the world, the universe. I want to read that so bad so I can get more detail.
Yeah, so we can go into, like, when we see, like, these random alien races, maybe they have this whole history that we get to learn about. Because I know Vulcans, I know Klingons, I know these guys. I want to know new guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin Jones, once again, another great episode of the Orville, and it looks like astrology and this took astrology to a whole new level. Yeah, it's not a level; they took it to like absolute law. That's beyond levels.
Yeah, Miss Cleo would have been really high up there.
Could you imagine like being an astrologist, like like a psychic palm reader person who looks at the stars? Is like
you're a soothsayer there.
Yeah, like you're like a high up there.
You're like Plato to them.
Yeah,
you're like a philosopher.
Slicer Neons. I was really creeped out this episode, from the hospital weakness to people being cut open. Glad the system of astrology also had it a broader shades of interpretation. Lots of intense ethical questions. Special effects were top notch. Yeah, the visual effects in the Orville, even from season 1, look great, but now they look even better. That cityscape when they're landing looked phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal.
And he knows how to cinematography. He knows angles. He knows what to show.
And like even like when he showed off all the satellite dishes and everything, it looked cool. Like
and I also like the scene when they're like releasing the star. Just like I said before, when you see the event horizon of the sun.
Oh yeah, like you get that first-person view where it releases the clamp. And
if you'd have told me, oh, that's one of our astronauts releasing a satellite into space, I'd believe it because it looked like it.
It looked so cool.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, and just all the broader senses of interpretation, like you said in the comment, where it's like I can see this side, I can see that side, then but you have to make a decision.
Yep.
And you know what? You got to live with it. Like Mercer said, well, I'm living with it. Yep. Whatever happens after this.
And Malloy, you got another thing about Juan being command from the last episode. Is it really worth it? I mean, look at all these choices you have to make.
Cartoon fan 959. I wonder if Tala is a bit of a jab of Michael Burnham. I don't see it. I don't see it.
No, I don't.
Not yet.
I think if they're doing anything, I think it's in jest and being lighthearted. See, because already in a sense they already won. Because look how Discovery's imitating Orville all the time, but in all the wrong things, not the things they should be imitating.
And even when Michael Burnham from Discovery, even though she like tried to do a mutiny and everything, it was almost like forgiven, and it's just a-okay that she did that.
Isn't that weird?
That's so weird. I don't think anyone on the Orville could do something like that, like on purpose. I know, like there's been some f-ups, but to form mutiny and try to, like, I don't know, start a freaking war.
This is something I'm going to say. I never thought I'd see this. Unless there was like an alien influence or something going on. I cannot picture in the old Star Trek shows a mutiny happening on the bridge.
Could you imagine Geordi running onto the bridge and?
But Discovery, I could see it. But in Orville, I could never see it. Not weird. It should be the other way around, but I can't see it in Orville.
Yeah, I couldn't unless Isaac got like infected with the virus.
An alien influence or something like that, a malfunction or something. Not because we're just going to do it because I
got a feeling that was literally her excuse. It's so ridiculous.
Oh, that whole show. We got to watch that tomorrow. Oh, goodness.
Again, there's a new commenter here. Fester, Bester, Tester 6. I hope I'm saying that right.
I like that.
I like it. It's a funny name. Their stars would look different from Earth pretty much anywhere else. They should know this. For attacking the new visitors, this planet should have been placed in quarantine, not allowed to leave their own star system. The Union was stupid for not researching the planet in the first place. Did they learn from their mistakes? Yeah, I can see that there should have been more. But they did say they sent back some information, you know, before they made that first contact. It's not like, we got the signal, we're landing. They did mention there was a little back and forth.
But I'm going to go back to what I said about Majority. Look what happened there, and they sent 2 people down there. One was killed, and the other one was lobotomized, so you have to be kind of careful about that.
See, but remember later in the episode, like, we basically hacked all their television feeds and everything, and we're looking up all the information. Maybe they should have done that in the first place.
Yeah.
And then, like, whoa, a lot of people keep talking about these birth sign things and did some research.
And if they did it, Kelly, I'll talk about your birthday.
It's just one of those things where it seems so it's like a funny, cute party gag here on Earth.
Yeah.
But on this planet, it's so much more to that.
But it's so funny, too, when you think about it. I should have seen the foreshadowing, because remember, Kelly kept talking about, my birthday. She said it twice before they got on the planet, because she was a little too hyped about it.
But no one makes that such a beautiful turn of events, because it's so mundane to us.
Yeah, it's so innocent. It's nothing bad.
We would never think someone's birthday can mean something bad. Yeah. It's a good thing that you were born, not a bad thing.
But I love even during the dinner when she said it, and then Boris was not sharing birthdays. I don't think they care for it. It's like, it's so stupid. And it's so upsetting.
And you're a man.
Yeah, I know.
You're not a little kid. But there's a response to that from Tina Baby. Yeah. I wondered that too. Will the Union issue a Talos 4 type non-contact policy? I'm glad to see someone's considering that too. Like I asked you earlier on, do you think this becomes a hands-off planet?
I think not for a while. I think what they'll do is they'll keep monitoring things, and if they think they keep evolving past that,
because they're not going to be able to sense their ships or anything, so they'll be able to like scan them.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Kind of like when you put like a tag on a wild animal just so they can keep track of it. Yeah. So it's kind of like that, I guess, in a weird way.
That's true.
Will Adams. Again, we always get super good and insightful posts from Will Adams and Billy Deerhead. They always go really, really deep. I don't always agree, but I love that we see people are thinking. Yeah. And that's always what I like. That's what I love about doing these episodes too. But Will Adams, this episode was feather-light compared to the example to Majority Rule and fun. It was interesting to me, however, that the effort seems to be made to emphasize females. Before you freak out, let me explain. About a girl that we're changing a girl into a boy. If you look at one brief scene from the episode, you will see that the child now moves like a girl. In one brief scene, they are at the party and might even be played by a female. Next, the first security officer was a girl, and the doctor's a girl, and the first officer's a girl. Let's look at these 2 episodes where the security officer was clearly a dude. He would be portrayed as a doofus. Read the laid-back surfer dude. Remember like that guy, and he was but he was supposed to, I think they made him that way, so we would want to get rid of him.
Also, maybe that's the thing of their race are all like that. Maybe they're just that kind of. We don't know that race, so we can't say how other ones. We haven't seen other ones of his kind.
And yeah, exactly. What if he's like way better than everyone else? Like he's the intellectual compared to everyone else on his planet, right?
Exactly.
And at no point in time was he shown to do any type of security job. Now notice all the away missions, the security officer was in the shuttle. Going to Alora's planet was still on shift mission in many of the other cases, including tonight's. Security officer was there on the shuttle. No away mission for the Snork security guard. Snorks. That's funny because those little cartoon guys.
Yeah.
But theirs came out of their head, not their nose. But it's close enough. Now that we have replaced the male security guard with the female, wouldn't the show be more interesting if the Slain was male? Give us a year to show how the males from their planet would act with the crew. Now let's look back at the episode where they had to sacrifice half of the people they were trying to save. Remember that episode where the planet and they could only save so many?
Yeah.
Bortus porn addiction episode that the leader was female, and while the weaker male was actually leaving his wife behind. Then there is tonight where they actually show how selfish women are. In the prison camp, the mother was perfectly willing to allow her child, also a girl by the way, to live a life of misery simply because she was selfish. Notice that this was the father who made the sacrifice. Having that said, I'm wondering if we're seeing the STD light in the show now. Just wondering.
I think you're seeing things that aren't. That's my personal opinion. I just think.
But here's the difference. They don't throw it in your face.
No,
that's the thing. Like, oh, you're saying there's a lot of females on the show, but they never came out and said, oh, girls are doing it for themselves. We'll be the first four mothers. They don't use lines like that.
Well, Next Generation had Tashiar. Was the head of security. So I mean you can't. There's.
I can understand what you're saying from like a numbers perspective, but it's never presented that way.
I don't feel it that way. I just don't.
And like what you're saying on how the leader was female and Nicole was the man who left his wife behind. Here's the thing. She said, no, we're going to draw lots, and it has to be whatever happens.
Exactly.
So he's just going along with it being completely fair.
How horrible would that have been if it had been here, the mom and the son had to stay behind? Oh, jeez. I don't know. I would say you take my place.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm old school to say women and children first.
Exactly.
I guess I am.
And then if at that point the men will all take the.
Yeah, I doubt there was 37 women.
Yeah.
So whatever there was like 20 women then 10 dudes.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
Yep.
And then the men are going to draw lots.
Yep.
That's the way. I don't know. Call me crazy, but and the mother is. Here's the thing. She just had a baby.
Yeah.
And you try to take a newborn baby from a mother. You go ahead and try that.
That's hard.
Yeah, go just attempt that with someone in your life and be like, oh, well, how would you feel if I just took your baby away? Yeah, you're gonna have to kill that woman to get her baby.
See, there's another pro-family episode in that sense.
Yeah, I'm seeing it as more of a pro-family instead of like a pro.
No, I don't know. I don't see it.
And you know what? The thing is, it's all about the presentation.
Yeah.
I think if it was like, again, like how they would do this in Discovery.
Well, it'd be hand-fisted.
Like how Wade, Mako, Burnham, and Tilly talk to each other. It's almost like they're their own little secret crew.
Yeah. What would be the women pioneers? Stuff like that.
Yeah, the foremothers.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
See, they don't do that. You don't see Kelly going hanging out with Dr. Finn saying, yeah, we're the ones that really run this show, this ship. They did none of that dialogue happens.
That's stupid. That wouldn't make any sense in this world.
Yeah, so we got a couple of extra replies to that comment, and I finally got this one right. It's not I am Bubblefish fly so high. It's lame Bubbles fly so high.
Oh,
but all the letters are together. That's why I mixed them up.
Well, it runs together. That's a run-on sentence.
I figured it out. Yes, I can see the pattern here. Let's hope that it's not going to throw girl power and other SJW nonsense in your face in future episodes. The main difference of the SJW agenda in the Orville and Star Trek Discovery is that the Orville is just there, let you know. It's just there left to you to notice it, while SCD just shoves it down your throat when you start gagging on it, and then add some more and eventually more forcefully. Exactly, kind of like basically what I said. Whatever little message they might be putting out there, it doesn't feel disingenuous.
Yeah, remember they did that in the Mockin episode when I've said this before. When they first go on the planet, they go, they've heard in their environment, but it was gone. A little moment, and they left it. They didn't talk about it.
Yeah, because they had like all the smokestacks and everything, but they didn't keep saying they're burning their planet, and they went on a 10-minute, basically, I'm talking to you, America. No, but
yeah, exactly.
They don't do anything like that.
The same thing even when they were the episode where she's with that female krill and she mentions the Nazis and liking that in Rage of the Lost Ark. It was a fun little joke, but he didn't go on and on about it. Talking about Nazis. No, just, that's fine.
Yeah, they mention it and then left.
Yeah, that's fine. You could mention it, just don't dwell on it.
But our next comment, Ben's Wiese. I get that the story had to advance, but I was surprised about how bumbling the Union is portrayed by the writers in this episode regarding First Contact. A team just sails down and says, "Hi, welcome." I would have thought there would have been some talk and discussion between the civilizations about social morals and such, and diplomatic protocol, that their major offenses could be identified beforehand. They did mention that they sent communiques back and forth before they got there, but like I said, something like birthdays are so mundane, and they believe that it's such a universal knowledge.
Everyone knows it, so why even bring it up? Because you should know this.
It'd be like, oh, of course water's wet. Why would I have to explain that to you? That's how ingrained it is into their brains. Yeah. So that's why it was never brought up.
That's why the sky's blue. Why would you have to talk about that? But that's how it is to them.
And he continues on, the unit comes off as a mess. As I turn this episode over, I realize this is the second week where Ed has potentially ran against Union's wishes. Last week he released a prisoner who escaped the Union prison in the first imprisonment, but the Union could have agreed with him. This week, that undercuts the Union's diplomatic efforts and produces a new star that the last might have to maintain, and if discovered, could perceive as interference, duplicitous and tricky transmission of the Union's reputation cachet. It's one of those. But what do you do? Just let Bordas and Kelly die? Your officers, just let them get killed? Basically, live forever on a thing and. You can't do that. You gotta.
Well, I remember the parallels. I remember the Star Trek episode where, Picard interfered when they went on that planet that was like Perfect Haven, but they have like zones, like, oh, in this zone you're not supposed to do anything wrong because the punishment's death. And remember Wesley crashed into that garden? Well, did Picard just let him die? Oh, that's insane. So he got him out of there because that's wrong.
Yeah, because if you want to give him a punishment. Whatever it is, but again, the punishment way outweighed the crime.
And plus, he's not even a Starfleet officer at the time; he was just a kid, citizen. So no, guys.
See, there's the moral ambiguities that I love so much in science fiction.
Exactly.
He continues on. Interesting episode that they use another line from a song, which was much better choice than using a quote from the controversial piece like The King and I, especially in the 1956 film version. I don't buy into any of that. That whole, it's controversial. It's not controversial. It's a wonderful play in the story. It's great.
Exactly.
I like how the show portrayed captivity and how one would have to change to adapt to it. Kelly being forced to say she was less than a person because defiance can result in pain. The moral question of interfering or how to interfere was interesting. True to be told, I was really wanted Boris to toss some soldiers around with his strength, especially after he had abused them and the others in this episode. That would have been kind of cool to see Boris just hand to hand some ass potpourri.
Because Boris doesn't feel like, well, I'm the third strongest person on the ship. Yeah. But in this situation, he'd probably be the strongest.
Without a doubt, the strongest.
Yeah, exactly.
And then response to that comment, lame bubbles fly so high. The Union and the Orville is a little bit like the EU. Good idea, bad execution. They're better than that. The EU's, without getting into our own politics of that. I'm not a fan of the EU. I'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. Yeah.
Power OFK. Whatever the crew of the Orville did the right thing or not, honestly, it was only real idea that could find to save their officers in the time that they had. Remember, they had been trying to negotiate for a month with no success and had less than a day to leave orbit on orders of Admiral Ted Danson. We're going to just call him Admiral Ted Danson. Exactly. But it was kind of interesting to see a planet so ingrained in astrology, yet getting to the point they're able to send messages by radio waves into deep space. Even here on Earth today, there are those who swear by zodiac signs, and even southern hemisphere countries where colonizations by Europeans go by European zodiacs, even though that the constellations used in the European zodiac are not seen in the southern hemisphere. But I disagree. Today's Earth has been sending out signals deep space for decades now, most notably the Voyager 1 and 2 probes launched in the late 70s. And I would say that it's really still would be unprepared for life from another planet to reveal themselves directly to us, as we still are constantly fighting wars amongst ourselves, and also different countries on our planet are at different levels of technological advancement. In addition, technology seems to be progressing at different rates based on the sector we are talking about. We know we have phones and we carry around in our pockets with more powerful computing power than the top-of-the-line desktop computers had even 15 years ago. And yet we still use fossil fuels and provide the mass majority of our energy, both electricity and travel. And when it comes to space travel, we have been 40 years since our last moon mission, and we stopped shuttle flights about 10 years ago. There's a possibility of Mars mission in the not so distant future, but that's a one-way trip. So there's that. Medicine has shifted for the most part, but curing acute diseases managing chronic ones. But there's the question for you guys. If first contact was made by an extraterrestrial species, what part of society would you hide from them?
That's a loaded question. That was a lot there.
That's a lot. There's a lot there because, again, like you said, like not all technologies all go at the same time. Again, sad to say, weapon technology seems to go faster than anything else.
Oh, of course.
Because that's human beings. We like to kill each other. It's what we do.
Yeah.
But I want to say, if we had to hide something from an alien race, social media, reality media crap, entertainment. That's how I'd hide.
Well, the funny thing is, though, and getting into the whole aspect we said, well, the thing is, in about 30 years, we'll have fusion energy, and that's going to change everything. See, it takes time.
Once energy, like, as soon as the poorest country is like Middletown America, that's when I think we'll get to the point to where we as a human race can start advancing beyond all these things. Well,
not to get into, like, we could talk about science, but like the Kerensky scale, like a type 1 civilization is probably 100 years away, but when that happens, we're going to start becoming more... Energy. It's all about energy, guys. Once we start getting energy, like even close to a star, forget it.
Yeah, if we can, it just once we've hit that, whatever it be, like a dark matter or a cold fusion, so any of that type of thing where electricity becomes pennies.
Yeah.
Like you can have your lights and everything running at full blast and it'll cost you $1.50 a month.
But see, we'll get that before we get light speed.
Yeah. Yeah, faster than light travel. Yeah. How do we even get to that point? But again, what would you hide from an alien race if you had to hide one aspect of humans?
Oh my gosh, I'd be embarrassed because we still have like criminals. Like they might even have criminals anymore. Yeah, they might be past that.
And then like even the most heinous of crimes, stuff like murder and rape and stuff like that. It's like, oh yeah, we still do these things. Exactly. Don't judge us all.
Well, and the thing is, we have so many different nation states because it seems like this planet's unified. Yeah, can you imagine all the different? What if they went to like an enemy of ours and help them? I mean, that's a whole other, can of worms.
Yeah, but to the Union. They don't know anything about the social political nature.
No.
So, like, what if they just so happen to, like, let's say, for instance, they landed in China and wanted to open relations with their country? How would the United States, Europe, and all these countries would respond to that?
Who knows?
You see, that's... I would say, without being funny, so like social media, I would say just some of our advanced radical ideologies that run countries.
Yeah.
If I could somehow hide that, because people can have their own personal beliefs. But people who have crazy personal beliefs don't run countries.
No.
They don't make laws. They don't do those things.
Yeah.
We allow them to have those ideas and thoughts and feelings, but they don't have any influence.
Nope.
But there's certain places on this planet where those ideas run the whole country.
Oh, yeah.
So I would hide that. Yeah, through fear and manipulation.
Well, but like he said, he mentions of Origin 1. How as a society... we send a satellite outside our own solar system. It's literally off to the outer solar system, but yet people still blow themselves up and kill people. Those two things cannot coexist for long.
Yeah, and a man doing like a manned mission to Mars.
Yeah.
And we saw people willing to stab you and steal your $3 or steal your shoes.
Yeah, it's insane.
These two things exist at the same time.
That's crazy.
Could you imagine if everyone just worked together?
Oh yeah,
that's the feat. But that's the division. See, that's without talking about Trek, Gene Roddenberry's vision.
Yeah,
which isn't present in Discovery in any way. No. The Orville has that vision is held more true in the Orville than it does in Discovery.
Yep,
and that's what I've always wanted.
Yep,
I'll never see it in my lifetime, but I'll always dream about it.
Exactly.
But moving on, we have Tingyu Zing. Again, I apologize so many times. It's Gallic, not gentleman. Yeah, the pronunciation of the Gilliac.
Gilliac.
Yeah, I think I said it wrong, but sue me. I'm sorry. I said it wrong. Caveat lector. The one thing I found extremely silly and nonsensical was the solution the crew of the Orville came up with to fool the world below that the missing star had returned in order to play on the astrological observation of the Gilliac constellation and portions therein. The writers clearly have no understanding of parallax. The solar sail acting as a mirror placed on a planetary orbit as depicted, or even the solar orbit within the system aligned that it would appear to fill in the spot where the black hole now exists. From the point of view of the observer on the surface of the low orbit, would have only be effective over a relatively small surface area of the planet. Move a few hundred miles in any direction from the optimum viewing angles and the relative position of the star, the perceived constellation would noticeably shift, especially to a technologically sophisticated civilization obsessed with making meticulous astronomical measurements an underpin of their very astrological central society, therefore giving away the hoax entirely in a short amount of time. While such a ruse could conceivably be monetarily effective towards the goal of securing Kelly and Bordas and release them from an internment camp, along with the rest of the inmates at the time, there's no way they will stand long enough to affect the changes of their superstitions and only cement their distrust and isolationism from the outer world due to the observable defect and disrespect played upon them. Solid episode otherwise. I agree.
But maybe the technology's so advanced.
They had to do something.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. Maybe the technology's so advanced from the Union, they won't build it. That's what I'm basing on. Maybe they have technology that we don't have, that they could fool.
Yeah, like if they can, like they said that whenever they use a sensor or something, that it will hijack the signal, send back whatever information
they did explain a little bit, but maybe a little more explanation there would have been better. But that's a minor
he's just talking just visually.
Yeah.
Like with the pair of like a powerful telescope. So there would be no signal, just visually it would look different.
Maybe they have like hologram things. I'm just trying to explain.
Yeah, I just think it's a little bit more explanation, or maybe something more than a sail, but maybe like a projector of some kind.
That doesn't bother me, though. It's a minor point. I see what he's saying,
But even if they do find out, we got our people back.
And that's all that matters. Yeah, we'll ruin their relationship forever with the Union, but
what can you do?
Yep.
Vlad Drak the second. If the Krill showed up, it would have been exterminate everything and make room for Krill-made cities. It's not just a Krill, just the way for them. Yeah, see, that's why they make the contact first. Yeah. Because, let's wait until the thing, and here comes the Krill got that message.
Yeah.
So I can see both sides of making that quick contact. Because however bad this may have turned out, it is infinitely better than if the Krill would have showed up.
Yeah.
Because they would all be dead. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's funny. They do it a whole different way in another aspect with Star Trek, because they wait until they get a signal. See, in Star Trek, they all look at all these planets and they see how advanced they get, then they make contact. So it's a different approach in that aspect, too.
Are they the only habitable planet in their little system?
I think so.
That's cool. I don't remember if they talked about that or not.
Well, there was, I think, 9 planets, if I'm mistaken, kind of like our solar system, so... Yeah.
KJH. I agree with the other posters here that the first contact for the Planetary Union is more akin to the first... being first in the YouTube comment section. This is why you wait until species has faster than light travel. It's easy to ignore the text message from deep. Then they start venturing out. Then they can be a danger to themselves and others. We've been doing it for 50 years, and I wouldn't have come within 10 light years of Earth. You would think a species advanced enough to send a message into space would understand that the stars shouldn't be orientated identically in any point in space. I had issues with Tala. She sure know Alara, and Alara was a sweet girl next door in the middle of America, and Tala is more of a badass from Bronx. I agree with that assessment.
Yeah, but I think they wanted someone different. They didn't want to do the same thing.
When we first watched the show, I saw Alara as like kid sister.
Yeah,
that's exactly how I saw her. This girl's more like that bad, that.
If I need to go in the alleyway with someone, I want this person.
This girl looks like she's been in a few fights in her life, and she knows what she's doing. Enjoyed the escape attempt. Looked like they were mostly taking non-lethal shots instead of just gunning everyone down. One thing about this crew is when they let loose and party, they generally wanted to be there. Unlike Trek, when even the celebration seemed a little bit stiff and formal, except for Worf and Jajia's wedding. Remember that little party they had in Discovery? Remember when the time kept looping? How sad it looked?
Pathetic.
It looked like, this is a party I need to get out of.
It was like High School Musical, but the down version, like the downtown version.
Like the party was in the basement.
Yeah.
See, like the party it was cool on the bridge. It was like everyone looked like they were genuinely
I don't know
fun.
if this funny little scene. I don't know if this was in the episode, but I guess when they were filming, if you see Isaac in the background, he's doing the robot, which is so stupid because he's a robot.
He has it down perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Picard would never allow a party on the bridge. If the 17th century classical music is still played in the 24th century among the stiffs, surely Cool in the Gang and Journey can be popular in the 25th century amongst the cool kids. Yeah, I know, right? It's Cool in the Gang.
Well, I think that's just more McFarlane's style. Like, he would, like, you can see he has his Broadway influence in the show, but he likes that music from, like, you know, 60s, 70s, so he puts more of that.
And I remember, was this on Twitter? Someone asked McFarlane, why don't you have like new music?
Music monos,
because it would sound stupid. He goes, name me one sci-fi show that had quote unquote new music and it wasn't horrible.
Yeah,
it's like,
and funky. And
I don't even want to do it.
No.
So that's why there's all these callbacks to old things, and it's his own personal little nods, and it's something that we can
remember. You have to remember, Captain Mercer is McFarlane. If he was in the future and he was that intelligent to be a captain, that's what he is.
So next comment, Shin Z. People who think this is a silly premise with the event that happened 3,000 years ago still affects them. We have an extremely large population who thinks events that happened 2,000 years ago and still refer to them today. Those people on Earth are even more effed up. You're making a Christianity thing, but here's the thing. 99% of people who believe in just about, just marriage, don't believe in jailing people just because when they were born. You
can't make it straight. That's too much of a stretch.
That's way too much of a stretch, I think. I don't subscribe to that.
No, there's another event from 1,600 years ago you can make a parallel with that. It happened in the Middle East. That you make a good point there.
And those people do things and kill people for the way they want to live their lives and stuff. But it's so funny. They just imprison them here.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was like instant execution.
No.
So is that a little bit better?
They didn't shoot them until they realized when they shot them. Then they were executed.
But it's almost, again, they almost...
You're celiac trash.
and
that guy was so bad.
You can't help the way you are.
Yeah.
Kind of like an animal. Like, the dog ate food off the table. It's a dog.
That's terrible.
That's how they kind of see these people.
Exactly.
It's so crazy.
It is.
JayC, but there's a little thing above the S. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that, but it's on screen. I guess there will be going some Planetary Union envoy to the planet anyways. Personally, I like... the thought process of the Union to first contact more than Starfleet in space, where there's definitely a lot of non-Union alien races that do act hostile. It makes sense to contact these kinds of civilizations right away. When they poke out to the stars, Union is a military science organization. If they can find civilization and able to contact outer space, it's best to warn them of other stuff that could potentially harm them and perhaps shield them before they can take care of themselves. Imagine this: if they would not have made contact with them, that kind of signal could get found out by the Krill or other hostile alien race that wants to expand their space. They would have annihilated this population, take the resources, and jumpstarted their own colony there with no regards to the native aliens. Exactly. That's why I think that's why they're reasoning.
Yeah.
Because even the bad things that did happen, it's an international incident, but it's better than full-blown genocide.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? On the other hand, if you have some combination of a culture by your own presence, on the other hand, you have the potential of destruction of said culture by others that don't have the non-aggressionary policy. Union takes probably a better way than that of Starfleet. Starfleet regulations can leave doors open for oppression, just like in Star Trek Discovery with those aliens that are left to exploit the race of Suru, which is the recent example of the show that's said to be canon. Yeah, remember that episode? Even though Suru joined Starfleet, they still considered his race like Like how does that even work?
Well, they can't interfere because they're so undeveloped. They can't do anything.
But they have one of their race, so couldn't he in fact go back to his people and...
Yeah, but I think that's one civilization he can't go back. That's why they probably told him, you do this, you're...
See, but if this had been the Orville, they would have went and saved his people.
Of course they would have.
See, I think that's a little how they do things differently. Which I'm glad that they are different.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Starfleet can be they can be some stiffs. They're stiffs.
Well, I've even watching detailed videos on that, how like Starfleet necessarily isn't, there's a lot of bad downside for having the Prime Directive. Yeah,
again, for all the good that it has, there's a lot of suffering that's because of it. But what can you do? Yep. They see the galactic picture.
Yeah.
And they're not here right now.
Think about the parallels. Remember, Starfleet was more like Orville, and they just would go down in contact. And then that with the Klingons, and it was disastrous.
Yeah, that started. That was a war that lasted years.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
years.
Because of that.
It's one of the things you roll the dice.
Yeah.
It's so funny because even the people on the planet were like, do we send the signal out?
Yeah.
Because what if you do get an answer? What do we do? See, even they were worried about it.
Yeah, but like I said, they figured, they're from the stars. They'll think the way we do about, birthdays and astronomy.
Another comment, same commenter. Even if first contact goes sideways and hits the fan, it still manages to warn the civilization of possible danger. So technically, there's a silver lining. Yeah, exactly. So makes them a little more cautious, but at the same time, does it make them super xenophobic or make them like again? I forgot that other alien race that the Krill are in war with. Yeah. They're a shoot first society now. Yeah. Was that better?
No.
See,
but then also funny too. This society is so developed. Always they still have currency.
Yeah,
because they talked about that in the episode. I'm just thinking about that right now. So,
and we love.
Oh, this guy's one of our
one of our regulars. It does great insights. I love it. So if you guys feel like, oh no, I'm typing too much, don't ever think that, because we enjoy all the comments. Yeah. But here's the full one. We'll take it paragraph by paragraph. Billy Deerhead. Definitely enjoyed the complex and moral issues tackled in this episode. But first, to get my complaints out of the way. The idea that an advanced interstellar multi-species society haphazardly answering the beacon call of a primitive civilization that barely develops the technology to say hello to them and arriving on their planet with hardly any indication and zero research done on the people living on the world, their culture, beliefs, laws, customs, and anything else. It's just too phenomenally foolish for me to take seriously. They could have been landing on the planet full of cannibalistic baby killers for all we know. I'm amazed that their universal translators managed to pick up their language so fast. Like I said, they did say there were some communications back and forth.
And remember, it was 2 years. They said it was 2 years by the time they got an answer. So that's plenty of time to learn the language.
To translate their things and everything. So I wasn't. The show presented it like it happened the next day, but they did say that it did take.
Remember, Orville's done this twice now. The same thing with the episode where that planet would move 700 years every month. Yeah. Remember, they were there for months and months. So
imagine just sitting there for a month, knowing that your people may or may not be dead.
But then when we think about it, it's a little bit more realistic. Yeah. Maybe you don't go from planet to planet like Star Trek does. No, they stick into one planet sometimes.
Or I guess they stay in one system and do little They deliver supplies.
That was last week, Sam.
Next paragraph. The next day they had the fact that they perfectly didn't fully explain the situation as he ordered Kelly and Bortus away. Even with the extreme beliefs in astrology, they had to realize that the stars appeared different configurations in skies on other worlds, that they would therefore have effect differently for those on their worlds. It's all fortune-telling hokum, and even within the bounds of the nonsense, there's still perfectly logical scientific explanation for how wrong they are. There in the set designs, I couldn't help but notice that during Kelly and Boris's gunfight, those watchtowers where the guards were posted were clearly built from fresh plywood and beams. They looked like they had been put half an hour before recording started. So you can clearly tell they didn't put much into the other show's budget other than on those practical set designs. And it's a one-off set.
And here's the thing, too. Well, we only saw the towers at night, so it's kind of hard to tell. Maybe that's why it was at night.
Yeah,
maybe they're worried about that.
Oh, maybe they have really good upkeep. How did you even think of that?
Exactly. That's it.
Maybe they just had a fresh remodel.
Again, that's nitpicking. I mean, you could say it, but that doesn't bother me.
And it's a TV set. Yeah. And they have to spend the money on more important things.
Like the special effects.
Yeah, the other things. I agree with that.
And the thing is, the reason why they didn't say anything during the dinner thing, because it was so shocking to them, they couldn't even comprehend it at the time.
Yeah, it would, like I said, it's like, imagine having to explain to someone why water's wet.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even think about explaining
that. That would be like having someone over for dinner and then they find out it's Ted Bundy. You know what I mean? It's like, why did you bring him here? He's a monster.
Yeah, he eats people. Yeah. It's one of those things where they were so shocked, I don't even think they even knew what to say.
Yeah, they were so like, how dare you bring us into the Great Hall?
But that goes to show how ingrained it was in them.
Yep.
Still, I have praise for the Orville for pushing such complex moral questions rather than preaching a certain rigid view of right and wrong. Orville starts a discussion rather than ending them, as most of these issues really is no definitely right or wrong answer, only a choice that every individual will grapple with and decide for themselves, and no one else in considering what's right and wrong. I personally think Mercer's repeated use of the "I don't know" is the best answer. In the Star Trek, every Starfleet officer is required to take a vow, agreeing to sacrifice their life rather than contaminate a pre-warp society. Because of the damage resulting from that could be potentially cost the lives of billions. The Union's methods seem extremely sloppy by compromise, but they too are civilized, developing in their own way, which brings up another issue that I haven't seen in the Orville superior alien races. So far, Isaac's race of AI seems to be the most advanced race we know of. Every other species has been mentioned in the Union, more primitive races than they have achieved space travel, or the Krill think the Orville's universe needs more fleshing out. Those red people.
Yeah, those Calvins.
They were way advanced.
Yeah.
They were even more advanced than Isaac's people, right?
I think Isaac's were almost parallel. That's why they treated him like an equal.
Because they were like 2 steps below them, I think.
Yeah.
Because they were so thin, they could just take over the Union if they wanted to. But they're so far beyond the way that they think. They see all alien races like ants in an ant farm. Who cares?
Not like this. We're going to crush you. We're like, we're not even bothered with you. You're nothing. Just go away.
Just kind of like when they would talk to Isaac. It's like, was it Kelly that was talking to him? Or whatever.
No, it was a Catan.
Yeah, and then he's like, okay, let this thing talk to me. Oh, this should be fun.
He's like, okay. He's like, geez, yeah.
Sure, I'll go talk to your doggy.
Well, boy,
hi, doggy.
I think we did way more damage to that world because we gave them the Desperate Housewives and all that. Jeez. This is amazing, because it's so terrible.
So there was one superior race, but they were they felt so removed from everything that they don't even care.
Outside that one ship, they went 400 years in the future, obviously.
Yeah, and then they were
advanced, but that was just, that was a cool tree ship, too.
Yeah, like I kind of like that organic look to it, but it was a one-off, though.
Yeah.
Continues on. But the only thing I absolutely loved about the show is the sense of wonder it carries. The way everyone reacted when they got the message was so uplifting and full of excitement. The line, why are we out? This is why we're out here. It captures the spirits of the Orville better than any tagline or TV review ever could. This show goes into every episode with such positive attitude, and along with their comedic antics and somewhat naive handling of certain situations, feels a lot like how eager young children would explore the galaxy. I've heard that the Orville described as Star Trek without the stick up their ass. I definitely agree with that. Star Trek felt more like grown-ups in space.
That's funny.
Would have been hardened, tempered, and refined over the centuries of interstellar conflict, grave mistakes, and struggles. The Orville is more of a positive, hopeful outlook of people who have got yet to be truly spanked by the harsh realities of dangers of the vast unknown. They've already met their own version of the Klingons, but they're yet to run into the Borg or a Dominion. True. But that's funny, but that's why I kind of what I loved about Trek was like, we as a species evolved a little bit. Yeah. So we're more refined and hardened and more forward thinking. But it is fun to see, but there was hope in Trek. The original Trek still had that hope. It may not be as fun-loving, I think would be the best way to say the Orville does it. Because like when Malloy's like, this is what we do. We're going to make first contact. This is why we're here. Yeah. That is such a powerful, profound.
But I think in some way they've been touched with their humanity from the past too, and they still have that kind of, how we would see things a little bit when you think about it.
I also wanted to mention the point you brought up about the Orville not having transporters. That is definitely a good choice on McFarlane's part. Star Trek was always coming up with excuses why they couldn't use the teleporters to immediately solve every problem in the first 5 minutes of the show. They originally came up with the transport because they didn't have the budget, but putting a shuttle launching and landing sequence in every episode. But as a storytelling perspective, it's a double-edged sword and certainly causes more problems than it solves.
Yeah, that was the reason.
There's an ionic storm. I can't get a lock. How many times was that used?
Well, it's so funny when you look in the history of Star Trek, the original shuttles, the original Star Trek, were too small for the actors, so when they went in, they had to crouch like that.
It was like, this is so uncomfortable.
I mean, you didn't make this for people. When you made the scale to scale, you didn't do it right.
Again, budget reasons.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's cool. But then you got cool things like the two Rikers.
Yeah.
Because of the transport and the way it is.
See, there's ways you can make it interesting.
Yeah, there's other cool things that can happen with that.
When Barkley had his phobia and those worm people in the stream with the thing, that was weird.
I don't want my molecules spread out all over the galaxy. I'm taking a shuttle.
That might be fair for some people, because think about it.
It is kind of scary. Because
would you be the same person afterwards? Because it does reassemble you.
Yeah, like, did it make a clone of you somewhere? Is the real you still floating out in space?
That's crazy. Just one little molecule on place, you just be nothing but splattered goo everywhere.
Ugh, that's so scary.
Yeah.
But again, if he told someone from, Egyptian times, there's a thing that can fly you around, they'd be like, I'm not getting that thing.
Yeah.
And so it's just, we get used to it, I guess.
Yeah, you do.
F Cool D. They had that last episode last season with the crazy Twitter world, which seems to be coming true, by the way. Yeah, I know, right? God, Twitter mob rule, it's unbelievable. Where they did have Scientologists on the planet. Now that the particular world was focused internally and had not reached out, but it seemed like you would want to embed sociologists or something on a couple of months, if not years, before landing. As mentioned in the video, we have sent that signal out, but it's been about 50 years. Do people in the Orville world really think 1960 Earth is ready for first contact? But it's just something we do. We're curious. The human race, we're just curious of everything.
I'm going to say, well, now obviously Star Trek, because they're going through World War III at this time, but I would say this planet's more like 2040, 2050.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me. In some ways, other ways, they're like 12th century, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Same comment, response here. S.J. Pace, 1776. I believe that the red alien race in season 1 that viewed most species as animals that keep in zoos were superior. They would talk to Isaac in regards to your criticism about the logical aspects. I think the science fiction is as much a platform for ideas and thoughts and experiments as it is for hard science. Great points about the mood and attitude. I inspired to be Picard, but I relate to Mercer. Different styles and characters. Yeah, exactly. Picard is like Captain, my captain. He's my favorite captain of all time of anything. But I can see myself being more like Mercer because I'm not that refined, captain of a...
If I had to pick my top 3 now and it makes him, I'd be Picard, Sisko, then Mercer. Yeah, I love Sisko a lot.
Mercer just has so much damn charm. Yeah, God, McFarlane is just a charming dude.
He is. And funny as heck, too. But he can be funny in this show. Oh, my goodness.
I think Mercer's funniest when he's the straight guy.
Yeah.
When he's the one reacting to the other people's silliness, even though he himself is a little silly. And he's like, my crew, what the hell's wrong with all you guys?
That's insane. Oh, the whole thing with Cliven trying to kill Porter.
Yeah.
Why can't these have regular things happening in my show? No, I have to have this.
Murder attempts. And another responder to that post. Day Free. The episode reminded me of the Next Generation one when Wesley broke his knee glass high house while playing football. It was a sentence to death. While I appreciate the absurdity of the setup, the absurd things do happen in real life. In the early sci-fi seasons, as a place where things and stories happen are examined, move along home. Yeah, like you were brought that up. Like, was that right? Should they have let him die?
Yeah.
No,
that's ridiculous. Was watching this place, and it gets to a certain zone. So that time, if he did it like 5 minutes later, it wouldn't have mattered.
That's so crazy.
Certain zones,
but that's their society.
Yeah, exactly.
But
we treat them like kids, assailing because they can't go on their own. But you have to let people advance too.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about here. Stuart Tamalaha. The title. It's a title from a Beatles song. See, I didn't know that.
That's nice either. That's cool.
Roheta. This is actually, I thought this was the funniest comment. Hey guys, what do you think the Choctaw worship hurts because they're Avis? Yeah. But I said they would worship Enterprise. I don't think they like that. That's the car company they would in. That would be so funny. They should totally do that. These should be Hertz and then they're Avis. They're intergalactic enemies.
It's TriStar. That's what it is.
Alamo. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up all the comments. Over an hour, but wow. I love it. It does to us.
This doesn't feel like nothing.
It doesn't feel like an hour.
No. This like 20 minutes.
This feels like my lunchtime at school when I was in high school and we talked about sci-fi and cool things and stuff that we saw and movie trailers. This is why I love it so much is the conversations.
Yeah. In contrast, watching Discovery feels like 5 hours sometimes.
I have to stop the episodes of Trek every like 20 minutes and just breathe because it makes my head want to explode. Yeah. And here in the Orville, I want to know more. Yeah. I want more. Give me more. And I was like, oh God, it's over.
Imagine when I was a young man, because I'm a little bit older now, when I would watch Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, when it'd be like a season ender or like a cliffhanger, like, I can't wait till next season. I'm getting that again with Orville. I can't wait till that next episode. I'm just anticipating it. It's just really cool to talk to all you guys. It really, really is. It's awesome. We really appreciate it, and it is I say it every time. This segment of our show would not exist if it wasn't for the commenters. Nope. You guys are the stars of this. Oh, very We're just reading your comments and you enlighten us so much. Oh, yeah. And there's things where I disagree, but I 100% appreciate the comment. Because I can see why I can see the thought process, and I can understand that. Yeah. And isn't that what we all want to achieve? To be able to say or speak our minds without being put down or shunned and being respected for our thoughts. That's what sci-fi is. Exactly. And another thing I want to mention too, talking about the Prime Directive, was an episode where a primitive race, very primitive. This was they were like literally Bronze Age. Thought that Picard was a god, and Picard, to prove it, because he's Picard himself, he allowed him to shoot him with an arrow to prove that I'm flesh and blood like you are. So he was willing to kill himself. See, that just tells you how hardcore he was when it came to that. I love Picard. He's so cool. Yeah, he was. I don't know about the new show. I'm a little on this, but without going into that, he's not a captain in that show. No, they say he's going to be like an archaeologist, but just too old. Just make it a cartoon. That's what I just animate it because he's so frail. I don't want him to hurt himself. Yeah, so he could be with the voice of Picard. Yeah, see, that's why I like him when he plays Xavier, because he's already in a wheelchair. Damn, he's almost there anyways. I know, right? But it's just so much fun. I love all this. If I had more time, I would do this for everything we do, but I'd be living YouTube nonstop. Yeah, but, exactly. Thanks for all the comments. Like them, share them. Let people know in other Orville communities, hey, we do these commentary videos, and we love them. They're great. Yep. And follow us on our C15 podcast on Twitter. I have a Facebook fan page if you guys want to follow that.
Again, people have brought up Discord to me. I've never used Discord, like not even as a fan.
Well, I looked it up because I know some people that are using it. We could use it if you want to.
I can make one. I'll have to monitor that or maybe elect some people to monitor it. But yeah, that's something we're looking forward to because science fiction more than anything else invites conversation.
Yep.
We're about dialogues, not monologues. I don't want to preach my thoughts and ideals to you guys without giving you the chance to talk back.
Especially in something I love like Orville.
It's super cool.
Definitely something like this.
I love it. I love it every week. So thanks for watching all the way through to the end.
We'll be doing this next Wednesday.
Again, tomorrow the new episode comes out. So and see you guys next Wednesday. Let people know that you leave comments. We do answer them. We do read every single one of them.
Yep.
So thanks for coming along for the ride. We love it. I love all you guys. I've been your host, Crimson Sin.
Everything PCA.
Thanks for watching.
See you later. Bye.
Crimson Sin here. Thanks for watching and be sure to like, sub, and share. Also, for the most up-to-date information about the podcast, follow us on Twitter at C15 Podcast.